Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Navtastic, podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandes, and
I'm Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
we're about to review Candy is Dandy, which is from season 6 of Laverne and Shirley. It was directed by John Tracy, and it was written by Joanne Pagliaro. And I bet you Chris has some facts about them coming up.
Yeah, darn tootin' I do.
Yeehaw. Here's what the episode's about. The girls' search for new jobs hit a brick wall when they audition to be stewardesses and singing telegrams, then finally strike pay dirt when they both find work behind the gift-wrapping counter at Bardwell's department store. But while wrapping boxes of chocolate for the candy department, Laverne digs into some candies filled with 100 proof rum. Now a drunken Laverne has to keep on her feet with the help of a distressed Shirley. Will the girls manage to impress their new boss, Mr. Hildebrand, and keep their jobs? Meanwhile, Carmine lands a job by sniping the girls' singing telegram audition, and the boys try to make their own fun by adding the girls to their casting roster for a brand new movie they're trying to make. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's a case of giving me a lot of flashbacks to certain times in my life, in multiple ways. But this was very cute. I was actually kind of surprised. I think after having seen The Cruise Part 1 so many times, I was expecting something more of that Uncle Tom's children's shoe store thing. Mm-hmm. And even though it does, obviously hijinks do ensue, I felt that it was kind of a relief that Bardwell or Mr. Hildebrand was kind of a more likable character. But yeah. This was good. This again, as we've been going through season 6, this is beginning to feel like the new normal's finally balancing out.
Yes. This is just an okay episode, in my little opinion. It's not the best thing that season 6 will produce. It's not the worst thing season 6 will produce. It's an okay episode. This is the last episode of the big giant set that we just got, which will establish the new premise, our new characters, the girls' new jobs, our new pizza bowl-like location in Cowboy Bill's, the fact that they're in California, the move itself. So we're done, and nothing major is going to happen until we lose Sonny and never really address it. That's in the future. It's like about 5 or so episodes. He just poofs into the ether.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I like this one. I'm glad you like this one. Notice one thing. One thing about this episode. They still haven't settled on the opening credits yet.
Yeah. Those are messy edits, and they're using like the certain shots are kind of ordered in sometimes weird ways. It's like every episode by episode they keep sort of chiseling more and more, and we notice this over the succeeding episodes as well.
Yeah. I think it locks down after Sonny is disposed of, so to speak.
Oh wow! So the mafia plot finally comes in. Good to hear.
No mafia. No. We already had our mafia episode. We
Darn.
We went through multiple mafia episodes that didn't really kill anybody off. But, yeah. It takes a while for these credits to sink into cement, and then season 8 happens and we have to redo them.
Right.
So,
right.
That's going to happen, and we can look forward to that one. Did you like either of the girls' possible occupations here? There are other occupations, stewardesses, singing telegram.
So singing telegram I could see getting old and annoying really fast unless they really tried to make that the twist was going to be that something happens to Laverne and her singing gets really good, or it turns out Shirley has been held back for some reason or another and actually has a good singing voice, because it's like the only thing is because it's like they already established that they're bad, they sing poorly, and therefore that's going to be the only joke it's going to have for the rest of the show. The stewardesses or the flight attendants would be interesting, but it comes back to, is Laverne still afraid of flying? And would they be able to get some interesting ideas, especially about the whole, swinging 60s air travel sort of thing, where they're able to, because it is interesting thing if they're working out of LAX, they would
Yeah.
then be able to have more of those celebrity guests. So, like, someone's
Yeah.
coming back from Italy shooting a
Yeah.
Western, or someone's
Yeah.
coming back from, coming from these other countries where they've been shooting on
Yeah.
location, and et cetera.
Yeah,
So,
Hawaii, all kinds of different places.
exactly, yeah. And
Yeah. It actually would have opened the show up more than them actually moving to California,
right.
which is an interesting thing, but yeah, this is what ends up happening. I can actually picture them doing that, and then maybe Laverne gets her pilot's license. They could have done all kinds of things. She's already flown a plane and landed it,
Mm-hmm.
so she can do this stuff. So we could have gone there. We don't go there, which is a disappointing thing. I'm reminded of two different things. The fact that in More Than Friends, Penny's character ends up playing a stewardess.
That's
in her
right.
sitcom.
That's right.
That's what I immediately think of whenever I watch this episode. I think, too, there actually was a sitcom in the 70s centered around stewardesses. It was called Flying Blind. It lasted for like 6 episodes. And there's actually a commercial for it in the Star Wars Holiday Special tape that's floating around in circulation in bootlegs. And in Riff Tracks, there's a
Flying High. Yeah.
Flying High, Flying High, Flying High. You are correct. Flying High is not Flying. Flying Blind is a whole different sitcom with Taya Leone.
Yeah,
Flying
that's
High.
right. Yeah, I
Flying
was wondering.
High.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Flying High, you're correct.
they got Peter Hunt to direct episodes for it.
Yeah. A lot of talent was wasted on that show. Riff Tracks fans will remember this one joke about that sitcom. Flying High, we don't even have a Wikipedia entry.
Well, they do now.
Now, of course, they do have a Wikipedia entry, though. They do have one now. To say that Riff happened.
Yeah, it's actually pretty thorough. Yeah.
Flying High existed around this time period and was on CBS. So
Yeah.
that was a concept they could have tried to compete with and probably would have won. But yes.
Hmm.
So what do you think of Carmine sniping the girl's singing telegram job here?
It's cute, but it's also I mean, I felt it was kind of cute.
Yeah.
Although him mentioning the golden throat made me feel that it's the kind that's going to get punched by Lo Mang or Alexander Fusheng in a Shaw Brothers movie.
God.
But I think I don't know how much you and I have talked about this on the podcast, which is that Carmine doesn't feel like he's going to get used very well in the California years, given that this is a guy that it was show business. I mean, we already talked about how like they basically abandoned the dance studio. Like if they had even said the dance studio in the Not Quite New York episode, if they had just said that he had lost the dance studio for some reason or sold it to pay off, some debts, that would have worked. But like here it's like it's almost it's a strange way of making the girls look like they're working class but upper scale, and Carmine look like he's essentially a scrappy hustler, just a scroungy for scraps.
Yeah. Actually, Carmine, they do address this later on. Carmine wanting to get into the movies and wanting to do things, and Laverne points out that he's aiming for low-hanging fruit. This does come up. He does do more show business stuff later on in the show. This actually does get a shine and some focus later on in the series. So you got to hold on for that. That's going to happen. I think that ultimately they didn't know how to utilize Eddie because they always wanted something bigger for Eddie, either to spin him off or to put him in another show where he'd have a bigger role, and they never seemed to quite know what they were doing with Carmine until we hit around season 7, and they desperately need him. Because Cindy and Penny are fighting, and then Cindy ends up suing Gary and the network, so...
Oy.
And then they desperately need him. But I still don't forgive them for not doing more with the dance studio premise. They really could have knocked it out of the park, had them do more stuff like the Alice in Wonderland dress up that happens in show's operation, kind of replaced the stuff with the that we used to do at the Brew, at the talent show every season, with a big Carmine puts on a show thing, had work conflicts with Carmine and Shirley, all kinds of stuff, and they never explored it. He just gets his dance studio, it's his, and he never does anything with it. And in fact, he gets into deeper debt in like season 5. Exactly,
right. Yeah, so
weird.
It's very weird, yeah. Which it feels as if they didn't understand, either they didn't understand or somebody was telling them, I don't know, like there was some force that was uncomfortable with the direction it could have gone, which is, I think, the thing about, it's the one thing in this episode that does stick out if I really like look at the component elements, piece by piece, that kind of doesn't work for me as much because even singing Telegram, that's like a starter job, but it's like it's a, him trying to find a job, and I do like the fact that it's accidental. That's very cute. But then when you get to Bardwell's, that feels more explored. That feels more unrestrained. And you realize how they've gotten to a point where certain characters in the show are not allowed to kind of move forward to a certain extent because it's like, well, that's not what the episode's about. Oh, that's going to overload that. Oh, it's going to go, there's always these kind of second guessings. And, you and I, speaking as writers ourselves, we've experienced that where we've like held off on an idea and then, a few years later realized, crap, I should have done that.
See, no, I always take those ideas and I think, well, I should have done that. I just twist them a little. I give them a little twist and then I rewrite it and I try again. There's always a way to salvage an idea because, as they say, everything in entertainment has already been done. You just need to add your special twist to it.
Well, certainly that's not necessarily what I mean. What I mean is the restriction one puts on themselves because there's the quote unquote greater plan that someone has that they're trying to do. And so we don't take plot element X from script 2 because we want script 2 to be done a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it feels, I guess, because that's what I get out of the Carmine stuff is that he is, and it's weird we're going on about Carmine for this episode, given that he's featured briefly, but I think out of the batch we're about to record, I think this is like one of his only appearances. But he is so far in the California years, and because, as of this recording, we've gone through 8 episodes, I think. It's 8 episodes, because we're into the second disc of the DVDs. It feels like they have zero idea of what to do with Carmine here. Or, sorry, they're not using Carmine here well, and whatever ideas they do have are either not being implemented or they're quote-unquote holding off on them for some reason, some arbitrary reason or another. So I'd be very curious to know, like, what was the driving goal behind it? Because as you've said, Gary had wanted Carmine to be another Fonzie. Other people, producers and etc., wanted Eddie Mecca to be able to be a bigger actor and be a thing. And I'm just kind of curious what caused that kind of confluence of elements to collide, and thus this we get a cute little Telegram gag, and we have this called back to, I think, in another few episodes. I think in Born Too Late, I think it gets called back to, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they didn't just like pull the trigger. They tried to with the spin-off that they tried to give him at the end of the show, but it just ends up going sideways instead. It's just unfortunate. And Eddie was not happy that he didn't get his own time in the sun to get to do his own things because the show wouldn't let him do it because they wanted him to do X, Y, and Z.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's not giving him the full range of movement to do his thing. It's like a survival horror game that has tank controls but only lets you move in 4 directions instead of 8. Yeah. Looking at you, Evil Dead, Hail to the King.
Listen, new Evil Dead game's good. Anyway, apparently I haven't.
Yeah, it is. Yet. It is. It's good. Okay. So it's kind of overall initial thoughts. So as we're going through initial thoughts, I really want to talk though about Bardwell's, and I love that they don't, a lot of times when you have an episode of people going to work at a department store, they have the job that's like, oh, they're on the floor, they're like an ambassador salesperson on the floor for a company or something like that. I love they put them in customer service and gift wrapping. And it's the kind of place that probably is a well-oiled enough machine that not many people come down for customer service. They really just come down for gift wrapping. And I love that detail because that really feels bottom rung. And it works so well here. Yeah.
This is really the last time the girls are ever going to have, like, monetary issues, to be honest. It's the first time it's actually the second time it's addressed in California. But it becomes less and less of an issue for them to do things, and less of an issue for them to, yeah, make their dreams come true, so to speak, in California, which is, weird because we're in California. It should be more expensive. But I love how they set up this premise. This is very much a job that they could do after doing years of manual labor twisting on bottle caps.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapping presents is just a step up from that. Though I think we did have a moment in Milwaukee where we found out Laverne can't wrap presents well or neatly.
Well, that being said, did we really get a fair look at how good she is at wrapping presents here, given how quickly things go off the rails?
Yeah, everything goes out the window really, really quickly. Yeah. And the whole idea is good. It's a good idea for them. It's a good second job for them. We get a little bit more Mr. Hildebrand on and off as season 6 and season 7 progress. In season 8, he shows up too, I do believe. In the end, it's a good move for them. It works for them as well as the boys becoming cheesy agents and amateur filmmakers does. Both of these moves work very well for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So, we absolutely have to address the fact that these creepy guys are trying to get their girlfriends drunk.
Yes.
And they exist only to foreshadow the fact that there's rum in these chocolates and Laverne's going to get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't need to exist.
Yeah. It's... I feel of mixed opinion about whether it does or does not need to exist, because it's a... Yeah. I mean, I will say my note about the about what I call other jailbait, which I think is the character named Robbie, is I hope he rots. That's my last note.
Yeah, they're both creeps. They're both creeps.
But at the same time, I also kind of appreciate that there's a dark honesty, because it's portrayed as bad behavior. And you kind of realize that Shirley kind of dodged a bullet not getting involved with Mr. Little Jailbait Sean the Tyke.
Yeah. God. Yeah. We will actually deal with the girls robbing the cradle down in season 7.
Oh, Christ. Oh,
That's what we talked about later on. They date some college students. That happens. That's not, awful, but the college students.
Yeah, they're college students. Yeah, they're 27. That's fine. That's better. Yeah. That's better.
Yeah. They don't date high school students or anything disgusting. Nothing like that happens, so don't worry about that.
I mean, yeah, we already had that in Excuse Me, May I Cut In? So
it's awkward but well done.
Yeah,
it's awkward but well done.
Exactly. It also, I think, worked in the sense that Happy Days had so many stories about the boys in that show trying to score with women that were older than them. So
yeah. Richie was desperate.
Oh, yeah.
Until he got Lori Beth. And he was desperate while he had Lori Beth until he marries Lori Beth. This was justice for Lori Beth. Anyway.
I do also want to point out, because, actor notes, because we'll be getting to that a little later. The actor who played Robbie, the second sleazeball, has done nothing else. I have no idea who it is. Oh. It is a total mystery.
I wonder if he's a Marshall. He might be a Marshall child or a Marshall relative.
Yeah, Marshall. Yeah, with a pseudonym. His name he's credited as John W. Shepard. So I did want to mention, though, that also the actor who played Sean. He was a bit of a walk-on actor. Aside from this and that, he got to be on like Days of Our Lives, One Day at a Time, Facts of Life, 240 Robert. Not much to say, but I'm curious what his connection was, because his last featured performance in anything was an Exit to Eden.
Okay, yeah, he has to be a Marshall friend or a relative, because if you're in Exit to Eden, or if you're in The Princess Diaries, or if you're in Pretty Woman and you look like you don't belong there, you're a friend of Marshall. Basically. Roger Ebert made an excellent point in his review of The Princess Diaries that Genovia is so filled with middle-aged men who look like they belong in a golf course because they're all Gary's friends.
Oh, no.
In the background.
No. Oh, I love it. I love that.
Next time you watch Princess Diaries, the first one, take a look in the background. You'll notice this. I mean, they're definitely his writer and director and comic club friends. He's just kind of put in the background.
That's so great.
Crowd scenes. It's very Gary and it's very funny at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
So, The other thing also in terms of like kind of covering first opinion, sort of first impression notes, just to kind of wrap that up. I thought it was, I'm curious what your thinking is, that I liked that the girls were, they're opposites, but I liked that in this situation, they're just both trying in different ways. And when the
Yes.
alcohol situation kicks in, we the audience are actually 100% rooting for Shirley in a way
Yes.
that I don't feel like we have in these types of circumstances in a long time.
Yeah. Shirley is trying her hardest to adult here.
Right.
She's trying so hard to adult and hold the premise together, hold the situation together. And she manages not to. And she manages to, simultaneously. Shirley is at her very best good student taking notes self in this episode. And Laverne, meanwhile, is kind of half-assing it a little bit, but not really, and then she gets drunk, poor thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Which
Gets
she,
taken out of the-
yeah. Poor thing becomes a candy wino.
Yep, candy wino. It's sad, it's very tragic.
Yes.
What's interesting here is, that, by the way, my note in the Stockboy Pigs is, thank you, plot explicit Stockboy Pigs.
Yep.
Well, there's one thing to note about Laverne's drunkenness here. She has a hollow leg, a canonically established hollow leg. So seeing her get really, really drunk this quickly is kind of like amazing and stunning. in a way.
Okay, to clarify, I guess, not to argue
100%
perhaps,
wrong.
but just 100% another
wrong.
thought is Laverne has a full box of those things.
Yeah, and they're 100% wrong. Yeah.
They're 100 proof. Yeah, I mean, not even
Yeah.
Tony from
Yeah.
Downcast would make chocolates that strong.
Oh, dude, yeah, so it's understandable. It is understandable in the end. I want to know that drunk Laverne is even gayer than usual. She's also very into Superman.
Yes.
she's there to make out with Shirley and have fun.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Let's go to Chad.
Let's go to Chad. No one ever goes to Chad anymore.
Anymore.
And then the pancake and I love the wrapping of the beanbag, and they put the bow, and they'll never guess what it is. Oh my God.
Yeah. Shirley's trying so hard, bless her. This will make you love Shirley Feeney. This episode will make anybody love Shirley Feeney.
Totally. Yep.
All
But
right.
yeah, like as I was saying, this gave me reminders of different parts of my life, and so working the department store reminded me definitely with the rush, the hearing the rain, hearing thunder was very much like working retail during the holiday season, Black Friday. But then Drunk Laverne, my God, doing behind the scenes for the Drunk Show, where it's like I love that she really captures that it's very childlike.
Yes.
And that's and actually there was an actor on the Drunk Show who was a lot like that. And I say, I won't say who, but you can watch the behind the scenes on the Gangobot YouTube channel and make your own decision of who I'm talking about. But they were very cute and they were very sweet.
Yes, that's nice.
And they're very talented too. That's it is not easy to be a good drunk actor and a good actor at the same time.
Yeah. That's always a hard balance to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
Always a hard balance to maintain. If you can't be drunk in public, you can't be drunk in public. That's a skill you gotta have in you.
Mm-hmm.
Versus
Totally.
acquire.
And also for first impressions, The Boys. And
Yes.
so they're making some new production. They're trying to, I wish that they actually made the jump into being sleazy indie filmmakers that actually end up making like a good movie, because they feel like and the idea being like they're sort of like the H.G. Lewis or the other kind of folks like another person that Severin Films is doing a box set of him as Ray Dennis Steckler.
Yes, Ray Dennis Steckler.
You know.
Wild guitar.
Oh God! I love that you know what that is referencing.
You have to love his movies with Archibald Jr. Archibald Jr. actually does really well in them.
Mm-hmm.
He really acquits himself really well in those movies that they did together. So.
But anyway, I also do think The Boys thinking of the girls first. I for the National Talent Hunt was kind of sweet. They're in LA now. They could just go to the beach, and down to Malibu or something, and pick up tons of gorgeous women. They're just like, oh, they wanted to go to. It's like, no, we got to give Laverne and Cheryl first pick.
a stumpy Audrey Hepburn, and a dainty Raymond Burr. I'm surprised Squiggy survived saying that.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm really surprised. Be sad. Be Chinese.
It says angry. Anger is good. How about Chinese anger?
Yeah, it's so goddamn random. It's like, I love that they're trying to cast this movie. We'll find out the title of the movie soon. We'll eventually find that out. It shall be revealed. And someday sweet success will smile on us. Hello.
Yeah, it's a kind of mid-tier hello joke, but it's good. It's a good
Yes,
one.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
And that's the thing that's why I feel like the boys getting their chance to actually succeed would be hilarious, because then all those ironic jokes of, sweet success and etc. that actually becomes foreshadowing. I think would be even funnier to me.
Yeah.
You think like, oh, it's some ironic joke, and then you realize, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
extra easy money.
And so rewind, rewinding a little bit. So Rhonda's.
Yes.
I hear Rhonda's little friends are out of work, so went through my drawers and your time of need.
Yes.
The phrasing of so many things with Rhonda is pretty amazing, and I love the half a bar of soap.
Yes.
And the prunes, which the implications of that one.
Oh yeah, that they're old. Oh, Rhonda.
Yep.
Rhonda.
Yeah, but
why wouldn't Frank hire the girls? Is the question.
That's a good question. The only thing I can think of is they are further away from Cowboy Bills than they seem to be.
Yeah, that's possible. That's very possible.
Yeah, because then with the bus schedules or even them getting a car, like it would just be challenging. But yeah, and Sonny getting the
hanging upside down.
Yes,
it's supposed to be a thing probably.
I mean, I thought that was very cute. That's actually my note. I guess Sonny's a great kisser. Oh, and there he is.
Yeah, hanging on upside down, just hanging up with the family.
Yeah,
having ourselves a party.
So you and I had different opinions on what happened in the hallway to get that week extension, if I recall.
Yeah. We said filthy things, very filthy things. We're going to try to avoid an M rating on this one.
Yeah,
make out, jerking things and pulling things.
All I said was she's going to make out, and you were the one that actually came up with the much naughtier version. To be fair, I resisted commenting on it when we were watching the episode, but because usually, well, I mean, this is the problem when you're doing a podcast with a girlfriend. When you're reviewing the episodes, it's kind of date time. But that being said, I think it is their relationship, their developing, burgeoning relationship continues to be absolutely adorable.
Exactly, it is. It is a cute relationship. It's one of the cutest relationships Laverne's ever been in during the show. So. Yeah,
I did not expect to like him as much as I do. I mean, I really, really like the guy.
He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy at all. To me, he's a little bland, but he's not a bad guy at all.
And that's the thing. Sometimes bland is a good thing.
Yeah. Sometimes bland you need.
Yeah, I mean, when your other options are, a dorky, neurotic police officer, really bad greaser, biker, thief, or a fireman who is Mr. Perfect but works a really dangerous, stressful job, then sometimes bland stuntman's a good thing.
Yes, indeed he do. Yes, indeed he do. Honestly, Sonny's not a bad guy. I will say Sonny's not a bad guy. He's good to her, and that's what matters.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. Also, we get some more substitution music through this episode on the DVDs, and
obviously.
And so, I also want to cover, as we're also going through the characters in the episode, Mr. Hildebrand. He's not quite a gentleman Manderville man, but he's a decent chap. And shout out to anyone who understands what a Manderville man is. But he's a decent chap, and I really love the characterization that the writing, directing, and performance put together.
Yes, he does a good job. He's a good guy. He's an interesting actor too.
Yeah, he's Norman Barthold, old school TV from back in the early 50s even. And he did so many different roles. Like, I mean, he's in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He's in Westworld as a medieval knight. He was on Mod Squad, Gunsmoke, tons of sitcoms. He was super active, and it's kind of cool to see all that those levels of experience, come into the into this performance in a way, because you see like so that he's able to know like. Make this one a little more natural, make this one a little hammier. This is more of a mask, this is more an honest truth. Like, there's lots of detail. And I think that's why one of the reasons I almost kind of love this episode. Like, even though it's not like a big one, it has these little highlights like that, which really stand out. Like that, she's such a kidder, kiss her upper. And then when Shirley goes after Sean, Hildebrand goes over to Laverne and mutters like, "Huh, quite the kisser upper, eh?" Like he's in on the joke. Like there's a truthfulness to him.
I can see why you like him. Your feelings may shift in time.
Good point.
We'll see. We'll see with time. Only time, as Enya says, will prove the pudding here.
Time proving pudding.
Yes.
Pudding.
Pudding time. Mary the waitress followed them all the way to California.
I noticed that. She is not.
She's so happy for the girls when they win. So happy they get the job.
Yep.
Yeah, that's her.
That was great. I love that detail. And you, I actually noticed on the second viewing, you could even see some of the extras are listening to the conversation as well. So so like that's what I mean. Like these little details like that kind of like make the episode stand out a little more.
Yeah. I love the way the scenes are set in this episode. They do a really good job trying to make a larger world for the girls to exist in. I love Laverne's "What time is lunch?"
Yes. Oh yeah. I also want to point out to that note, there's really good dialogue to this whole episode.
Yeah. The dialogue is pretty solid. We'll get more of Joanne Pagliaro later in the show, and she does equally well there.
Totally. Yeah, she was another sitcom writer from the period and a program consultant and writer on What's Happening. Yeah, she was. She had worked on like an episode of Lou Grant and the Jeffersons before this, so this was actually like kind of early in her career. But she made multiple stops across multiple TV shows through the '80s, like Family Ties, Fame, Cagney and Lacey.
Wow.
So I mean, it's it's a lot of variety. So very talented writer, smart gal, smart person putting in the work.
Yeah. She did a great job. So let's talk about the tennis ball shooter bit.
Yes. Yeah. John Tracy's not good at the physical stuff.
It was very awkwardly blocked. I will say that it's kind of too. The room is kind of too small to do the kind of physical comedy he was looking for that scene. So they didn't make it the back room big enough to give the girls space to work with. But they both tried their hardest, and the chaos is very old school.
Yeah, it's also
very earlier.
Yeah. The other thing I have a problem with the tennis ball launcher is that the framing of the shots and the set, like it's I have a suspicion part of it is because they seem to have probably built the set in a like a trapezoid form, because it's like it's moving perspective lines, like the walls are slanted towards the back. And because of that, they seem a bit apprehensive to put the camera further out, like the wide shots that you often would get with Rafkin and Zwick. And because like compare this to the driving test where Rafkin gets a fantastic oneer of watching all the pieces kind of collide, and it's multiple layers of comedy. And here it's very awkward. I think you're right in that the blocking's kind of weird and simple. And then the camera and then the camera placement just really screws it up, I think, for me.
Yeah. It's not perfect. I like parts of it. I will say that. I like Shirley trying her darndest to keep the chaos from spreading.
Right, and I love Laverne catching the ball and getting all happy about it, and
yeah. Then Shirley begging Mr. Hildebrand for a job later. I love my laser. I love all these rainbows and ribbons and bows. She doesn't say rainbows, ribbons and bows.
Right. Oh, it's so cute. And yeah, like that's the thing is the drunk physical gags, because those are much more dependent on Penny's sense of timing and the sense of timing. Those parts work really well in this episode. And like even like the tongue twister bit where they do it in a reverse shot, then they do the second one, the woodchuck one, in one take. which is fantastic that they're able to show
Yeah.
one, then two, because it's those are complicated tongue twisters, and for both of them to do
Yeah.
it back to back is fantastic, and to do it comedically, that's impressive.
Oh yeah. The girls are so good in this. They are working their butts up to make this episode work.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta give them credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Laverne ends up saving her job. Shirley ends up saving the job for her in a way.
Mm-hmm. And it is. I think one of the things I was appreciating about Hildebrand is he's humble enough to understand he made a mistake. He didn't know that the chocolate had alcohol.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a large
He
amount. Just tries one and is like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. He could have poisoned a whole bunch of kids with that by mistake.
Exactly. So this delay, their tomfoolery actually helped save save the shop.
Yeah. She saved their skins, and as Shirley correctly points out, so good for them both.
Mm-hmm.
Deus Ex Drunken Machina.
Goodness.
That takes us to the tag, I think.
Yes, which is the drunk as a skunk and still put in a whole 8-hour workday.
Yeah, go Laverne. And of course, the boys using their doggy door. I think this is the last time the doggy door gets used in the episode.
Yeah.
In an episode. Lenny had left his keys in his other shoes, and a bunch of actresses that are going to be slapping them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like your comment was, do we really think the boys are going to see 5 sets of boobs?
We don't, because they're going to punch them before that even happens.
Yeah.
How many of those girls beat up the boys is my question in my notes.
Oh my God, that's a great one. That's good.
Like, I don't think they take it too far, because they don't need to take it. They wouldn't. Well, we got an episode soon enough where they do take it too far.
Ugh. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there soon.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention these gals have probably been in LA long enough to know that slap first, questions later.
Yeah. Knife first, questions later, but not the boys. Don't kill the boys. The boys deserve. Well, in several episodes, they deserve to be pinched very hard at the very least.
Yeah, and nut kicks are a good go-to.
Right in the balls. Right up the balls. I love the boys. I love them a lot. I agree with them. I tend to agree with them, and sometimes they push it.
Yeah.
They just go too far.
They don't push it real good. We're talking about the push it that's like, hey, you stop that.
Ooh, baby, don't push it like that. Okay, Laverne being utterly confused that Lenny keeps his keys in his shoes. That almost makes sense, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he doesn't have any pockets on him, he doesn't have any way to keep his keys on him. Your shoes are safe. You're not likely to be robbed of your house key. It's actually practical.
I suppose
that makes sense.
But I guess I'm just trying to think of why would he not have pockets? What is he borrowing Laverne's slacks now?
I can imagine that being they've actually fit in each other's clothing, as we know.
That was me. Okay, that was me trying to make a subtle joke.
The Stell canon established it. It can't be a joke if it's canon.
Well, it's not just that. It's also that women don't have pockets. It's a joke about the bullshit pink tax.
Designers are designed for women. Be eliminating all the pockets. Ho ho ho! God.
Yep.
Give us pockets.
Please give them pockets.
Buy 40 persons.
Yeah, please give them pockets.
But yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna keep talking about the pockets because I'm tired of having to carry stuff for my mom when we go on a walk.
Oh goodness. She should look for. There are several brands of jeans out there that do have pockets and are sized for female identifying bodies.
Right. For the yes.
Yes. Tell her to look for those. She will probably fit into them and be able to shove her keys and all of her stuff into her pockets. Yeah. Make her life easier. Or maybe she could take a tote bag.
Oh, she does. She does sometimes take the purse, but sometimes it gets heavy and then her shoulders hurt and it's.
No, but a tote bag might work. Might be an even better solution because it's lighter weight.
That's a totally good idea.
Oh, look.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So,
did you pick
all
that
right.
up on my microphone?
I did pick that up on the microphone. Thank you.
I don't have actual drums with me, so that's as close as you get.
Anyway,
yeah.
But yeah, I overall enjoy this episode. It's got some very friendly people, and it's a very it was I guess what it is it's very cute, and
Yeah.
it's a very it was
Sweet.
yeah, sweet and kind of it felt back to normal.
Yeah. You like this one way more than me, but I like it just fine. I wanted to add though before we get into the rankings portion, there's a perfectly good reason for Lenny to have his keys in his shoes, because I can see that I can see that being a habit he picked up as a latchkey kid.
Oh God.
When you're in a poor, dangerous neighborhood, just put it underneath your foot. You can't get robbed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Avoid the break-ins.
Right. Totally. Because then, because you have people probably empty your pockets basically for change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That was what crossed my mind whenever this comes up. But yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So you feel ready to put a stamp of approval or disapproval or on?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want me to go first?
Go Forrest.
This is a solid 6 for me. It's good. It's okay. It's funny. Got some funny moments, but it's not like bam, wow, boom to me. It's not a huge. Yeah, you need to see this because the girl's jobs get established. Carmine's new job gets established. You got lots of Carmine coming in his uniform, singing telegrams for a while.
I keep imagining he's going to be in his uniform. That it's going to be like a Chippendale dancer outfit.
They don't get him to take his shirt off until season 7. Then we get lots of shirtless Eddie Mecca. It does happen eventually.
Well, yeah,
but hold on.
But isn't Malibu Mansion in this season though?
Yes. That also. Well, he was also shirtless in season 5 too. So
Okay.
he does take it off sometimes.
Gotcha.
He has already
But in
established.
season 7 it becomes the norm.
Yeah. As we get more desperate and start running out of characters, it's like here's Carmine. He's in a beaded vest. He's wearing fringe. Look at his pecs.
Look at that. Look at them pecs. He can't wiggle them, but he can. Sure, they can be present in the moment.
Enjoy them washboard abs. It's like,
Oh my God.
the pleasures in season 8 are very few, and one of them is shirtless Eddie Mecca. So.
Anyway, okay, so ranking. I would give this a 6.5 with a 7 on a day that I really connect with it.
Yeah. You like this one more than me, and that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting when that happens.
Yeah, but yeah, I do feel that it's
Yeah.
but agreeing with your point though that even though it's very good and kind of reestablishes things, there are certain parts around the kind of the edges of the episode that could have been given a little extra that would have put things together a little better, like I mean the idea of like even as an example of Carmine's desperation, he's trying to audition for Stab, and that he keeps because the idea being that because in the problem with going to LA is that there's hundreds like you. If you're an artist, if you're a musician or in show business, there's thousands of people like you, most of whom are more talented and more experienced than you. So it's a case of you're just struggling to get work, and so having that be part of Carmine's thing rather than and then the singing telegram be the accident that happens in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Would have been better if it was kind of more firmly established and this becomes a payoff rather than just a the girls lost out on the job but he got it instead.
Yeah. We're going to address Carmine's career more, I promise. Just hold on, we will get there. This will be a thing.
My God, did I not complain about Carmine for this whole episode?
Hey, congratulations! He's grown on you.
Okay. Well, it's just he feels like he's so getting sidelined in the California years so far that now I have reason to feel sympathy for the poor guy.
He's gonna become more and more sympathetic, though he does have some real Lulu moments in season 8 where you'll want to slap him. So we'll get there.
Well, then that will also be a return to the normal.
Yes. All things in balance, Padawan. All things in balance.
Oh my God, I am your Laverne and Shirley Padawan, aren't I?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes.
Oh boy. Anywho, I think, so 6 for you, 6.5 plus for me. I think that covers everything. The one thing I did want to point out for today.
I went for a flat 6 with this one. I went for a flat 6.
Flat 6. Okay.
Flat 6.
Yeah. Flat 6 for you, 6.5 for me.
Yes.
And okay, I have the one piece of director trivia for today is that he directed an episode of Remington Steele in 1985 called "Now You Steal It, Now You Don't," which has the
love
further
that.
bit of silly trivia that it has Al Berry as a dock worker. The only reason the reason I mention this because some digging says that Al Berry was the German scientist whose eyeballs exploded in the opening of Reanimator. You're welcome.
All things, like I said, all things combined in the end.
All right, so I think that wraps it up for today.
Yes, it does. I think it does.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for joining us again once more, everybody, for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more, please join us on Twitter at Night After Night PC or Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, YouTube, and wherever great podcasts are listened to. And we would like to also once more give a shout out to our wonderful patrons on Patreon. If you give us some dollars, you can get these episodes a little early, and we'll be doing some other cool stuff. Please join us on Twitter. We are still trying to do our regular watch along sort of stuff. By the time this episode goes out, we'll probably be in the middle of many more, I think, actually, based on timing. Yeah. So, anywho, yes. And we hope that you all have yourself a wonderful day. But, Lisa, honey, we've been working really hard. You work really hard. I work really hard. We should play a game this weekend. So, what's coming up next on the pod?
Lenny and Squiggy end up on the dating game.
Hey.
And things devolve from there. Or evolve. Volve.
Or
Dating game.
maybe they provolve, like it's a proactive volving, or it's a solving. Maybe that's what it is. Actually, this is solving. It's solving the issue of the dating experience, man. It's going to be very solvent. Really glue it together.
It will volver. It will volver.
All right.
Some Aldemovar in there.
We'll see you next time, folks.
It's called the dating game. Y'all gotta have some fun. Now, don't forget, sniff the chocolate before you bite into it. Bye, y'all.